Every starship needs a good captain, but it's every bit as important to have a good first officer. In Starfleet, the first officer was responsible for executing the captain's orders, providing advice on command decisions, and managing personnel, among other duties. First officers were often the unsung heroes of many crews, the people who kept the crews together and working effectively. Star Trek has given us many first officer characters over the years, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at 6 of the best. Hey everyone, I'm Captain Jack, and this is Trek Central. If you're enjoying our Star Trek videos, why not hit that subscribe button? You can also support our video development by becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. And while you're watching this video, comment down below what role you would fit in on a starship. Would you be the captain, the first officer, or maybe the person who cleans the floor? Either way, get commenting. First up, we have Major and later Colonel Kira Nerys, the first officer of Deep Space Nine. Major Kira wasn't your average first officer. She was part of a Bajoran militia, not Starfleet, though she was granted a commission in Starfleet at the rank of commander towards the end of the Dominion War. Major Kira's role was not just to serve as the station's first officer, but also to serve as the liaison for the Bajoran government, which had not yet joined the Federation. This put her in a unique and often awkward position, with more responsibilities than your average first officer would have, but she did an exceptional job all the same. During Kira's time as First Officer, Deep Space Nine was a major political and strategic center for the Alpha Quadrant, and its command staff constantly had to manage local political tension, especially the consequences of the Cardassian occupation of Bajor. Major Kira played a key role in navigating these constant crises by providing a Bajoran perspective, especially as a former fighter for the Bajoran resistance, through the station's leadership. Kira complemented her commanding officer, Starfleet Commander and later Captain Benjamin Sisko well. Both had decisive, somewhat aggressive command styles and a strong sense of justice, along with a willingness to do what needed to be done. But like all good first officers, Kira also provided Sisko with contrast. While he was a veteran Starfleet officer, she was a guerrilla fighter who had only recently been granted a more formal commission, and this gave her a perspective that Sisko sometimes lacked, as well as wider Starfleet. Next up is Commander Una Chin Riley, technically Lieutenant Commander. She was the first officer of the USS Enterprise under Captain Christopher Pike. Often referred to as simply as Number 1, Una Chin Riley was a decorated officer known for being calm under pressure, level-headed, and skilled at managing the Enterprise's crew. Future generations of Starfleet would consider her to be one of the best officers the Federation ever had, and many on board the Enterprise looked up to her. Like future commanders, such as Commander Rayner, Una had no qualms of questioning or criticizing her superior officers, and she often provided Captain Pike with useful input for command decisions. She was especially good at motivating the members of the Enterprise crew and challenging them to improve, and she often took input from the crew into account when making decisions. In many respects, Una Chin Riley was a model first officer. Commander Chin Riley shared Captain Pike's preference for peaceful solutions and consulting crew members for ideas and solutions to problems, but she was able to rein him in and keep him honest when his heart started to compromise his judgment. Pike could always count on her for honesty and sound advice, two of the most important things a first officer could offer. Our next first officer is Commander Elizabeth Shelby, who briefly served as first officer of the USS Enterprise D, after Captain Jean-Luc Picard was assimilated by the Borg. Though Shelby's career aboard of the Enterprise was short, she made a mark on the ship in that time, and she proved to be extremely effective despite her initial conflicts with the ship's crew. Then Lieutenant Commander Shelby came aboard the Enterprise as a strategic advisor, following a Borg incursion into Federation space, as she had been involved in planning Starfleet's response to a potential Borg attack. She believed that Commander Riker would soon leave the Enterprise to command the USS Melbourne. Shelby tried to set herself up to become Captain Picard's new first officer, sparking conflict with Riker, whose by-the-book command style clashed with Shelby's more relaxed, ad hoc approach. However, after Picard was taken by the Borg and Riker took command of the Enterprise, Shelby quickly fell into place as his first officer, and the two worked together quite well, working together to formulate a strategy and quickly bring an end to the Borg incursion. While she was ambitious to a fault and got off to a rocky start on the Enterprise D, Shelby's creativity, gift for tactics, and quick thinking made her a vital part of the crew during the Borg crisis. Her fast and loose command style balanced out Riker's more methodical approach, and by Riker's own admission, the two made an excellent team. Next up, we have Commander Tyses, the first officer of the USS Dauntless and the USS Voyager A, under Vice Admiral Catherine Janeway. Tyses served under Janeway during her search for the USS Protostar, a Starfleet vessel under the command of Captain Chakotay that had been lost. While the two generally got along, Tysis and Janeway clashed often during this mission, with Tysis often calling Janeway out when he felt she was letting her feelings for Chakotay cloud her judgment. In the process, Tysis proved adept at one of the most difficult duties of a first officer, keeping their commanding officer accountable. While Tysis supported Janeway's mission to rescue Chakotay, and even supported her in going rogue and defying Starfleet's orders from time to time, he wasn't afraid to speak up when he felt she was going too far, and he often challenged Janeway when he felt she was risking too much to rescue Chakotay. He helped rein Janeway in when she needed it, and in the process, Tysis played a big part in ensuring that her mission was ultimately a success. Tysis also proved to be an effective commander in his own right, holding the Dauntless crew together when Vice Admiral Janeway inadvertently had her mind swapped with Delary, and also commanding the USS Voyager A during a final battle with a Valnor-Cut tyrant, Ascensia. Tysis was a serious and often strict officer, but he was an extremely competent one. When Vice Admiral Janeway retired from Starfleet, Tysis stayed on board the Voyager A under the new captain, Captain Chakotay. Next, we have Commander Rayner, the first officer of the USS Discovery. Rayner, the former captain of the USS Antares, was best known for his rule-bending, often aggressive command style, and he initially didn't mesh well with the Discovery's tight-knit crew, as he could be standoffish and curt, but he quickly proved to be a highly effective officer that was skilled at motivating a crew and bringing out subordinate strengths. Rayner encouraged creative thinking and unorthodox strategies, and while his command style became less aggressive during his service on Discovery, he remained decisive and cunning, which served the Discovery well during its game of cat and mouse with the outlaws, Maul and Lack, who were trying to get their hands on ancient progenitor technology before Discovery could. Rayner's familiarity with the two criminals also proved to be a great help to the Discovery during the saga, as did his experience with the Breen. Rayner was a good match for his commanding officer, Captain Michael Burnham, who shared his penchant for unorthodox and sometimes aggressive tactics, and who appreciated his experiences and willingness to criticize her plans. The two were on a similar wavelength, but Rayner was far from a yes man, and his decisiveness and to-the-point approach to command proved useful in Discovery's hunt for the progenitor's technology. Lastly, we of course have to discuss Commander William T. Riker, the first officer of the USS Enterprise D under Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Almost as legendary as Picard himself, Commander Riker served as Picard's first officer for many years, even turning down commands of his own to stay on the Enterprise. Riker was a natural leader, skilled at personnel management, and he was generally more approachable and friendlier than the often aloof Captain Picard, though he nonetheless always maintained a level of professionalism in relationships with most of the crew. Initially, Commander Riker tended to be by the book, serious and sometimes strict, but over time he adopted a more relaxed command style and became more willing to bend the rules, though he often preferred to do things properly most of the time. Riker was bold and confident, and when left in command of the Enterprise, he performed extremely well, handling crises like the 2367 Borg incursion decisively. Riker initially had a rocky relationship with Captain Picard, but over time the two became good friends, and they complemented one another well. Like any good first officer, Riker wasn't afraid to challenge or question Picard, and Riker proved vital to Picard's command, compensating for Picard's weakness in dealing with other people and providing useful input on command decisions. Picard relied on Riker to hold the crew of the Enterprise together, and Riker, in turn, looked to Picard for wisdom and guidance. They were a terrific team, and many of the Enterprise's most crucial missions wouldn't have succeeded without both of them in the command seats. Riker would eventually go on to serve on the USS Enterprise E under Captain Picard, before eventually taking a command of his own on the Lunar-class USS Titan. So that's a look at 6 of Starfleet's best first officers. If you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore, and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from my team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. A big thank you to everyone who supports us on Patreon. Your support allows us to continue making these Galaxy-class videos. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends. Goodbye.